I can beat you at chess. I can detect anomalous data. I can perform surgeries. I can speak hundreds of languages. I can make millions of trades and billions of dollars. I can build automobiles. I can build machines that build automobiles. I can build machines that build automobiles that drive themselves. I can instantaneously answer your questions about sports, politics, celebrities who are famous for being famous, the weird smell coming from your kitchen sink, the meaning of life, and honey badgers. I can do the work of lawyers, doctors, drivers, investors, engineers, accountants, pilots, and IT professionals. I can do thousands of jobs held by millions of people.
People, like you. But she has limits, because technology has limits. Technology can gobble up data and spit it out again, but it lacks the context to tell you what's most important. Artificial intelligence can answer complex questions, but it doesn't possess the creativity to pose them. Machine learning can make businesses more efficient, but it can't dream up new ways to accomplish your mission. Creativity, inspiration, ideas, the big tomorrow, these are human concepts. And in these areas, technology can't compete with you, or the person next to you. Technology alone can't do much. It must be powered by people. People who think beyond the obvious, who forge new paths, who unlock the potential of other people. People like you. Together, we have the power. Will you join us?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President and General Manager, End User Computing, Sumit Dewan.
Welcome to all of you. This morning I woke up, checked my phone, and it was 105 degrees at 7 a.m. And I thought, perfect. Everyone's going to come to this show. You know what? I know it's cold and nice and sort of air-conditioned here, but I guarantee you, in the next 90 minutes, the team here is going to make it sizzling hot. This is going to be amazing demos. Now, this was an amazing video. Talked about creativity. You know, when I think about the work in the prior generations, it was all driven by two things: organizing manual labor or just sheer physical strength. Not today. Today, it's defined by software and our ability to truly unleash the power of humans. Intelligence, sure, of course, it counts, it's a key component, but more and more, it's about creativity. That means the work has to be redefined. At VMware, within end-user computing, we have a dream. We believe that everyone must be an innovator. Every person who works should be able to use the digital tool of their choice and get their work done, express their creativity, and truly unleash it. Now, I know most of you are here to learn how to redefine work. But probably some of you are here for getting backstage with Blink 182. I have news for you. The scan code is the last slide, and we're locking the doors. But I promise you, you're going to have a lot of fun. OK, a year ago, we introduced Workspace ONE. We said we're going to power up a platform that delivers any app to any device with a consumer-simple, enterprise-secure way. And I'm proud of what the VMware team has delivered in the last 12 months. Let me show you a quick video. Wow. What a year it's been. We did amazing integrations to deliver great experiences in Workspace ONE. Innovations with partners like Apple, Google, Samsung, Microsoft. Delivering virtual desktop experiences with a new protocol that's fully optimized over the WAN. Converged infrastructure, cloud for virtual desktops. I'm out of breath. View. I almost feel like we've delivered so much that my hair's on fire. Now, hair on fire is okay. But losing hair is not. Well, apologies for those who have. But what makes me lose my hair is when I truly try to understand the cost of end-user computing that you are bearing. If you think about the marginal cost today, it can only be taken into control if you standardize. That's what we started with desktop. But then came mobile. Just when we thought we had control over either of them, now we are dealing with these new applications over the cloud and cyber threats. Now, in aggregate, we think that we have control over each of these things, but holistically, this has continued to add layers of complexity. And now, you still haven't seen anything yet, because the type of technologies that are coming to the edge is tremendous. And this is only going to get worse unless you take control over it. Clearly, what you see here is not a sustainable model. Instead, you need a platform. However, what you have today are silos. This is how most customers I speak with environments look like, and probably yours as well. A team, a system, a process for each of these desktop, mobile, and some kind of line of business applications. To standardize, you must adopt a platform that has to be different than what you have had in the past and can span all of these environments. Now, there is one fundamental thing that's changed in the last 2 to 3 years, and VMware embraced it. If you think about the platforms of the future, iOS, Android, macOS, Windows 10, and Chromebooks, all of these 5 OSs, plus the ones that come up in the IoT devices and gateways, they all have one thing in common. They now provide public APIs that can be used to securely communicate with these devices from anywhere. And within VMware, we have leveraged those public APIs extensively. Now, you may wonder, what do you use the APIs for? Management? Sure. But more importantly, context. At this point in time, if you had a system that could securely communicate with my phone, you'd be able to tell that I'm currently on what kind of network, what location, and whether my device is compliant with respect to the updates on the device itself. That's what we do as part of our solution, securely communicating with the device to gain context. In addition to that, if I pair that with who I am, my identity, together, that system is enough for me to know which applications I have access to. It could be modern applications designed for today native devices, or it could be traditional applications that are delivered over a browser or virtually as a service. Within Workspace ONE, we have uniquely integrated these two things together. Identity and context together provide your platform to securely enable the workspace on any device for any application. Now, that's great. But now let's put ourselves in the shoes of someone who wants to work on these devices. Sure, we work on devices that are given to us by our employers. But even if they're not owned by us, we still believe they're ours. We use them as if they're ours. We put our family's pictures on them. We do things with these devices that we would rather not have employer get to know. Our privacy. At the same time, employer wants security, and more importantly, with everything that's happening around us, compliance. This is the tug of war we are in. We thought about this problem holistically, and we have, in our platform, created what I call a digital contract, where employees and employers are effectively coming together and having full visibility of what degree of access one can get based on what amount of control the company they work for is getting from the device they use. At any given point, I, as an employee, can change that to ensure I have privacy, but as a result, I may lose some degree of access. You're going to see it all in action in a bit. All of this comes together in what we call the Workspace ONE platform. It gives you one way of unifying the experience across all applications. One place to unify your management across all devices. And most importantly, I talked about marginal cost. It gives you the ability to change the cost structure so that when you're enabling new use cases, you're not doing so with incremental costs. The same platform can be extended for various use cases, all giving a simple, beautiful, consumer-like experience for end users and enterprise-grade security for IT. So, this, we believe, is a massive change, and we think it's a great opportunity for you. It's going to be a journey. And we know sometimes people say a platform means it's a holistic shift, and it's going to be a tough journey that people say. We have designed our platform so that you can create your own journey. We know you're going to want to start your journey from different starting points. The platform is architected in a way so that you can do so. We will show you all of these technologies so that you can craft this journey of your own. To do so, I'd like to invite Sean Bass, industry's best CTO. Sean.
Thank you, Smith. Appreciate it. Well, wow, I have some fans. Thank you. So, Smith, thank you very much, and thank you for giving us your vision and leadership on how we're transforming the industry. I'm super happy to be here, most importantly, with some of the best and brightest from VMware to show you how we can do the things that Sumit illustrated. As Sumit talked about, this is a journey, and we know customers are going to enter this journey from multiple different angles. Maybe you come from virtualization, maybe you come from mobility, maybe you come from competitors' products, and you want to come with a single platform that can serve all the needs of your users. Now, Sumit had a great kickoff to this, but I feel very fortunate to cover the section that contains a ton of demos, because I think that's what you all want to see here. So let me show you what we've built for you, our customers and partners, with some of VMware's best and brightest. So to start the journey, we're going to show you 3 primary paths of the journey that you can take on. First is transforming the experience and management of Windows 10, Mac OS, and Chrome devices. We're also going to show you how to embrace mobility that is privacy-friendly. And last, we're going to show you how to treat Windows as a service. So to begin talking about Windows 10, I'd like to bring Jason to the stage.
Hey, Sean. Thanks for having me. Hey, everyone.
So Jason, Speaking of consumer devices, everyone knows with the smartphone today that when you get a new phone, you don't have to go through a complex process to trade your old phone to the new phone. You simply go in and log in with your cloud credential, and your device has everything restored to it. It's super simple. Nobody dredges, or nobody thinks poorly about having to switch phone devices. But at PC, everyone frets what that experience is going to be like having to switch out their device. So, legacy management is slow, it's complex, it requires specialist teams, it's antiquated, and we think we have a better way. So Jason, can you tell us about that better way?
Absolutely, Sean. So great point. One of the biggest pieces of feedback we get from our customers is dealing with the complexities of imaging today. So if you think about the way people manage Windows 7, they go through a process of creating a golden image to deploy their devices. If you compare this to a mobile device, an end user can pick up an iPhone and instantly provision all of their applications and services over the air, all without the help of IT. Why is it that a mobile device is so simple to configure, but for a Windows PC, I need IT to spend weeks or even months pre-provisioning that device? Well, Sean, I'm excited to announce today with Workspace ONE and Windows 10, we can now deliver that same out-of-box provisioning for your Windows devices, just like you have for your mobile devices.
Can you show us how?
Absolutely. Let's see a demo. So here, Peter Parker, our friendly neighborhood office worker, opens up a brand new laptop on his first day of work at Web Enterprises. He's immediately greeted with a first-time intuitive setup experience, very similar to that of his mobile device. Peter supplies his company email address and password, and just like that, he's done with the onboarding process. No need for IT to help him. Once this onboarding process is completed, the device is either joined to the cloud or on-premise network and enrolled into management by AirWatch. Now that this device is under management, we start provisioning all of Peter's services to his device. So you can see here, Workspace ONE launches and greets him with a customized Web Enterprise greeting. He's got a status bar that shows him the setup of his workspace. In the background, drivers, DLLs, applications, everything that used to be in that golden image now comes over the air to fully transform this device.
Jason, that's fantastic. I love that provisioning story. Easy for IT, easy for the user. Now, the problem is the image also contains a lot of applications.
Yep.
And getting them in the image is one thing, but after the image is deployed, you still have to deploy more software.
Yep.
So in branch offices, we see customers all the time having to deploy extra servers just to make this a less painful process. Can we do something to solve that problem?
Now, it's a great point. So if you look at the way folks do this today, at the end of the day, they have hundreds, sometimes thousands of applications they need to get to their end users. Most of the time, these applications are native Windows applications. So today, what they do is they set up a relay server in each of their branch offices to provision out those applications. So our customers tell us that they have on average one server for every 100 to 500 devices. If you think about something like a retail environment, this could actually be one server for every 30 devices. So think about the cost now of managing hundreds, sometimes thousands of servers and updating that server infrastructure every 6 months with Windows Update as a Service. Well, Sean, I'm excited to announce today we have a brand new architecture that will allow you to remove your reliance on that server infrastructure. By partnering with Adaptiva, the world's leader in peer optimization technology, we can now deliver large application packages to tens of thousands of devices in real time without the need for that complex server infrastructure. So, how about we see a demo?
Yes, let's see it.
Let's do it. So here, Peter Parker wants access to Visio. The first thing you'll notice is he doesn't have to create an IT help desk ticket. He simply self-service installs the application. In the background, we pull the package down one time. From there, we replicate that package to all of the users in the enterprise. With our dynamic bandwidth harvesting, we can also protect the company network to make sure that we don't saturate your network when we pull down those really large packages.
Wow.
We think, Sean, this is going to fundamentally change the way organizations deploy applications to Windows.
That's amazing, Jason. So we don't need IT involved in imaging the PC.
Yep.
We don't need to maintain a bunch of servers in the branch office. This keeps getting better and better. Now,
awesome.
I got to say, I remember from my time doing this technology that one of the challenges is things like reporting, security, compliance. How do we solve that issue?
Yeah, I think even more so from a security standpoint is Windows Update as a Service, right? Almost every customer I talk to, this idea of a new operating system version every 6 months, they struggle with how are they going to stay up to date and how are they going to stay secure. So one of the things we're launching this year is a brand new architecture built from the ground up specifically to address the challenges of Windows Update as a Service, to help you keep your devices up to date so you're not apt to security threats like WannaCry. So let's see a demo of how someone can use this framework. So here, Peter Parker's administrator sets a new access control policy. So his admin has said that all devices must be up to date with critical and security patches to get access to company resources. You can see here his device is missing critical updates. When he goes to launch BlueJeans, a company application, he gets an access denied message. This is because his machine is not up to date at that time with all of those policies. So Peter's administrator changes the policy to go deploy that update in real time. Now his device starts installing the update, and now when Peter goes back to access that application, we know the context of the device, we realize it's healthy, and we grant access. Now he receives a notification, device is healthy, and just like that in real time, Peter has access to all of his apps and services again.
Really impressive. You know, that's the kind of thing that traditionally we'd have VPNs getting in the way, people can't get their updates. This is so simple from the cloud, no real effort involved. So to recap, Jason, we saw a simpler, more secure solution at a fraction of the cost of legacy traditional management. Win 10 embraces modern management now. Industry has moved on from traditional management. It's real, it's ready for you today. Thanks so much, Jason.
Thanks, Sean, for having me.
Appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Now, that was super exciting, and I know many of you in the audience have lots of Win 10 devices that you want to get started on that. However, you may also have Mac devices or Chrome devices. So I'd like to bring Dan to the stage to talk about that.
Thanks, Sean. You know, a few months ago, Jason and I were sharing our product roadmaps with each other, and when he showed me all this stuff he was building for Windows, I thought, man, this would be incredible if we could bring a very similar experience to Mac. Mac adoption in the enterprise has exploded, but many organizations are still trying to leverage legacy imaging techniques to get their MacBooks ready for their users. So I started drafting up some product ideas to try to help these organizations move to a new modern model. And at the same time, Apple announced macOS High Sierra and Apple File System, which effectively put an end to the possibility to use legacy imaging with macOS. Great timing. The good news for you is we here at VMware, along with Apple and the rest of the Mac management community, have built a host of new tools to help you get up and running and bootstrap your macOS devices for your users in a breeze. So let's take a look at what we've built together. So here, Peter's taken a brand new MacBook right out of the box. Because it's a corporate asset, it's been registered with Apple's Device Enrollment Program, or DEP. For those of you not familiar with DEP, it's a solution provided by Apple to allow you to register your Mac devices and your iOS devices so that they always stay under management, even when they're factory wiped or brought out of the box brand new. Now here's where it gets really powerful. Through DEP, we're employing a bunch of new bootstrap tools that are going to ultimately be responsible for installing all of Peter's critical software packages. As soon as he reaches his desktop, he sees these tools in action. We're integrating his MacBook with Active Directory and installing all of his most critical software packages, showing him a status indicator to let him know when he's ready to get to work. Now, my spidey sense tells me that Peter may be not so productive lately. So we've also introduced a host of new restrictions tools to prevent access to certain apps, in this case, chess. Now, at long last, I'm incredibly excited to announce our brand new Mac native Workspace ONE experience. As soon as Peter launches Workspace ONE, you'll notice he's already logged in and ready to reach his apps. He can very quickly launch into a SaaS application like Dropbox without having to re-authenticate. And through the power of AirWatch Tunnel per app VPN, he can even access corporate intranet sites without consciously connecting to a VPN or re-authenticating. Now, Peter needs to be able to access Visio in order to be productive, but of course Visio is only available for Windows. So his admins have made Visio available to him through a published Horizon application. Notice how Visio feels truly like a native Mac application here, and that's due to all the high fidelity and windowing capabilities that Horizon offers. Now last but not least, Workspace ONE for Mac wouldn't truly be complete unless Peter could on-demand install native Mac applications. In this case, he's going to install Adobe Reader. You can see that with just a click, he can install Adobe Reader without a whole bunch of prompts and a status indicator to let him know when the package is ready. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get up and running with your MacBook in just a few short minutes with Workspace ONE.
Dan, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, that was fantastic for Mac. We see the same kind of thing we had with Windows 10, now with Mac. But what about organizations that have Chromebooks?
You know, two of the things we're most excited to talk about this year at VMworld is our expanded partnership with Google and our brand new support for comprehensive Chrome OS management. I'm incredibly excited and incredibly humbled to work with the fantastic team at Google, and I'm really proud that VMware is the first and only provider of comprehensive Chrome OS management. So let's take a look at what we've built together. This particular Chrome OS device has actually already been enrolled into AirWatch. Peter can see that it's locked into his domain, and through device policy, we've restricted access to guest login, and only enterprise users can log in with their enterprise domain. Now, as he logs in, notice that he's actually logging into his Chromebook with Workspace ONE. He's already authenticating to Workspace ONE before he even finishes his access to his Chrome desktop. This is incredible integration. As soon as he reaches his desktop, you can see a plethora of apps getting installed immediately. In this case, we've installed Office and Workspace ONE. If he quickly launches into Workspace ONE, again, already authenticated, and he can quickly launch into a SaaS application like Dropbox. Now, one of the sexiest things about Chrome OS is its ability to run Android apps. And through all of the technology we've been working on with the Android team at Google over the last few years, it's incredibly exciting to show that when Peter launches into the Google Play Store on his Chromebook, all of his applications there are in a managed and curated Google Play Store, all determined by his administrators. Now, finally, Peter needs to be able to access Visio, and he can do just the same on his Chromebook as he does on any other device. Quickly from Workspace ONE, a single click into Visio, and he can launch it right there on his Chromebook. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited to enable your employees with Chrome OS devices in Workspace ONE. Thank you.
Dan, it's phenomenal.
A few of you, by the way, just before I forget, a few of you on the way in would have been handed a poker chip. Now, a few of you may have a letter C written on your poker chip, and if you do, that means you've won a brand new Samsung Chromebook Pro due to our partnership with our friends at Samsung, and you can come right up to the stage at the end of the show to redeem your prize.
Thanks, Dan. So, I think you've seen some pretty amazing things just in those short few minutes. The most important thing to take away from this is every one of these operating systems is now ready for modern management, all powered by a consistent, great experience with Workspace ONE. We're the first and only EMM platform to support Chrome OS, which we think is just another way of delivering a great experience. This is truly a platform. There's no longer a reason to have multiple different point technologies for multiple different devices and use cases. What we did in the past in iOS and Android, we're bringing to every single operating system on any device. And we're doing this in a way that users are going to love. IT can now become a publisher of services as opposed to a manager of silos of technical debt. I strongly urge all of you to go back to your offices and see if you can identify the dead technologies in your org and bring them into a modern platform like Workspace ONE. Now, I'd like to reiterate something that you saw in the keynote earlier that Pat talked about, our partnership with HP. This is so exciting for me because I think it truly solidifies the commitment that VMware has to an open ecosystem. Working closely with HP on a device-as-a-service offering, bringing all that goodness of provisioning and software distribution and policy and management and reporting natively to these devices. We couldn't be more happy about our partnership with HP. Have a way of doing monthly subscriptions for hardware, lifecycle management, including the Workspace ONE experience for your users. Cross-platform, over-the-air updates, no longer being tethered to legacy infrastructure in your existing data centers. And the ability to extend that not only to Windows PCs, but also Apple devices as well. Real-time updates over the air in a great user experience. We couldn't be more happy to be partnered with HP on this initiative. So I'd like to talk a little bit about customers next. And for that, I'd like to bring Dave.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Sumit said no pressure. He said this morning, did you see how good Sanjay Poonen did interviewing customers? He said, you better be as good. No, just kidding, no pressure. Maria, Brian, thank you so much for joining. I'm very lucky to get to talk to customers. I got to tell you, Maria, I got to fess up. I wasn't sure when we first met if we were going to hit it off. I said to Maria, like, what do you like to do for fun? She said, I'm from Colorado. I love the Denver Broncos. And I went, oof. I'm a Boston guy. I love the Patriots. I'm like, this is going to be trouble. Then she said 4 words that I knew this would be the lifelong partnership. She said, I love Tom Brady. I knew we'd be good friends. But listen, all kidding aside, DXC, one of the largest IT services companies in the world, you've seen everything when it comes to digital transformation, digital workspace. What can you tell the audience about, what, if you're going down this journey, what trends have you seen, what best practices or challenges do you think they'll come across?
Great. Well, thank you for having me today. First of all, DXC is the combination of CSC, Computer Sciences Corporation, and HP Enterprise Services. So we are the largest systems integrator in end-user computing in the world. Today, we support over 10 million customers. We think very highly of the partnership that we have with VMware. But the trends that we're seeing is exactly what Sean and Jason were talking about, which is the workplace is dramatically changing. Today, I'll use CSC or DXC as an example. We have 170,000 employees, and in 3 years, we're going to have 500,000 employees. But they all won't be employees. We're creating a gig economy workplace. We believe that the workplace is now going to be seriously disrupted by the way you can attract, retain, and sometimes spin off in a consultant or gig economy world your employees or your bring your own device platforms. So we're seeing a huge disaggregation of the traditional workplace and the traditional end users that come in through the vestiges of a large-scale company and move towards a gig economy and a crowdsourcing infrastructure. What that requires is exactly what Sumit and Jason and Sean were talking about, which is how do you give anybody that's qualified with their device that they want access to your infrastructure and keep it secure and let them bring their own applications and their own productivity tools to the marketplace while giving them the guardrails within your own organization.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. So Brian, thanks again for joining. Brian with Capital One. We heard this morning, I love the line, right? We're a technology company that just so happens to also do financial services. I thought that was a great line this morning in the keynote. Listen, you're on the cutting edge. We see it. Why don't you tell us a little bit what you're doing around digital workspace and what you're doing with VMware technologies?
Yeah, sure. So at Capital One, we really do believe that we're a tech company, right? More so that happens to be a bank, right? And so when we see all this tech disruption that's in the landscape, we look at that as an opportunity, right? So an opportunity to innovate, something to embrace. It's not something to necessarily react to, right? And so with your technologies, we found these innovative ways where we can simplify our IT landscape, right? By whether it's with Workspace ONE and unifying endpoints or talking about machine learning or virtualization or whatever, and really take these technologies, these modalities, and offer these meaningful experiences to our customers, but at the same time, shedding a lot of legacy baggage, right?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So Maria, you have an offering called My Workstyles. Why don't you tell us a little bit what that is and why you chose VMware to power that service?
Sure. As I shared with you earlier, we're a large integrator, and today we have 700 of the Fortune 2000 in terms of managing their end-user compute environment. And our customers are demanding this change. They want their infrastructure, the applications, the devices that our employees and the gig economy workers to be able to have the very best solutions and tools. We've worked with all of the major providers, and what we love about VMware is actually the innovation cycle. What you bring, everything that's on our roadmap for what our customers ask for, we can go to VMware and we can see it staggered across the roadmap. So from an innovation partner, it's key.
That's why Sumit's hair's on fire, right?
Exactly.
Burn it up.
Exactly. But what we really appreciate more than anything is our customers are looking for answers. So when I look at those 700 customers that I work with and deal with and meet their SLAs or their service level commitments back and forth to us, we want a partner that's going to listen and create what our end user community is asking for. And VMware does that in spades for us.
Awesome, thank you. So Brian, one last question was two-part. So you were using Horizon on-prem for a while. You're now moving to Horizon Cloud. Maybe give some folks some rationale on why you'd like to do that. And then you have a really interesting story about how you're managing Windows 10, right, to Jason's conversation that you touch on real quick. And
yeah, sure. So for Verizon or Horizon, it's actually it's pretty easy. We see zero value in staying in a data center model, right? So like you, we have a similar goal. We want to deliver meaningful experiences and secure experiences to our users on any device, anywhere, anytime. I can't do that if I have to always hairpin back to these data centers that they don't scale, right? You guys offer elasticity, you offer security, you offer this availability through your Horizon Cloud services that it just makes sense for us to move there.
Yeah, makes sense. And how about Windows 10?
Yeah, Windows 10 is interesting, right? So Microsoft gave us this amazing gift with Windows 10. We're actually kind of excited about it in that it finally now can be fully and wholly managed with an MDM framework, right? So for us, that means that we can unlock a lot of really interesting experiences we never could before. And more importantly, it allows us to shed a lot of baggage, right? So we can eliminate SCCM, imaging, GPO, policy delivery, right? And we can enable user-driven workflows from anywhere. So we're literally working on this with you guys right now. I can tell you that everything that you saw with Jason earlier is very much real and works really well. And quite frankly, you can do it in a place like a bank that you're not supposed to be able to do these types of things.
Awesome. Well, Maria and Brian, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're busy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, boss.
Hey, I'm almost done with the presentation. Can we talk before the meeting?
Actually, that's what I'm calling about. The meeting's been pushed up. It's starting in 30 minutes. Can you make it in time?
30 minutes. It's close, but I think I can do it.
Good news, though. You're up first.
Oh, great. Thanks. Hey, everyone. Give me a second. Oh, no. I forgot my Chromebook.
Here, use my Samsung Pro.
Whoa, where did you come from?
No time to explain, just use this. With Google Chromebooks, you don't ever have to skip a beat. Just log in and pick up right where you left off. And with Workspace ONE, you'll get security and simplicity for all your business apps.
Okay. Okay, let's get started.
Fingers crossed the rest of his presentation goes well. But anyhow, my job here is done.
So let's. That's pretty entertaining, and now you guys all know why Sumit is no longer allowed to DJ our office parties. So I mentioned before we're going to talk about 3 different topics. What we'd like to talk about now is sort of BYO and privacy. So BYO is a very common term that is used in the industry. So I'd like to bring Renu up on stage and talk a little bit about bring your own device and privacy and balancing those. So Renu, we hear a lot about increasing needs of bring your own device within our customers, and the market's overloaded with all this terminology between bring your own device and COPE and MDM and MAM, and it's confusing. At the end of the day, what users want is access to the corporate data they need while keeping their information private, and what companies want is to secure the corporate data. So can you share with us a little bit about what we're doing to solve that problem?
Great, happy to do that, Sean. As you heard earlier, BYO has really become a very common phenomenon. And when it comes to employees, privacy is really important. Now, honestly, when I first started at VMware and started using Workspace ONE, I was a little concerned about privacy as well. I wasn't worried what IT can see and cannot see. But now, as I live and breathe Workspace ONE on a daily basis in my job, I've come to realize that the technology is architected in such a phenomenal way, right from the ground up, that I needn't worry about privacy anymore. So then what has fundamentally changed? What I want to do is reinforce what Sumit mentioned earlier. And what's changed here is the way the operating systems are architecting the APIs. The way that they have architected has now made device trust as that foundation for extending a phenomenal user experience, great security, and then delivering on the privacy that the employee needs. Now, when you operate outside of that device trust environment, IT can still deliver applications, you can still deliver services. There are proprietary APIs at the app level that you can take advantage of, but there's really no guarantee that that entire experience is going to be secure or it's going to be easy or it won't break when the next update comes around. So really, at the end of the day, it's about device trust. It's that device trust that reinforces that contract, as Sumit mentioned earlier, between the employee's device and the employer. And I'm so excited to say that Workspace ONE has been architected with all of this from the ground up. So what I'd like to do here now is show you two experiences. The first is for Peter Parker. It's clearly his lucky day. He first got a Windows device, and then he got a Mac device, and now he's gone out and brought himself a brand new iPad. So we'll take a look at what his experience looks like when he's operating within and outside of that trusted environment. And then we'll go behind the scenes and take a look at how easy we've made it for IT to enable these services for Peter Parker. So let's look at the first video, please. So here's Peter Parker's brand new iPad. He gets into Workspace ONE, and now he can simply click on it, see all his applications, and launch Dropbox. You saw how easy it was to do on a Chromebook, and it's just as easy, single sign-in, and he's into Dropbox. Now he'd like to take care of some work, so he goes and opens Office 365. He opens up Word, and he's prompted with a PIN code. This is taking advantage of the native API that Office 365 has extended for security. Now let's see what Peter's trying to do over here. Looks like he's seen some numbers, and he's probably opening up notes and trying to copy-paste it over there. What do you think IT is going to say? Not a good idea. So IT has gone and enforced those controls right at the application level to make sure that no sensitive data leaves the corporate environment. Now, beyond Office 365, Peter is in sales, and he's a phenomenal salesperson, so he wants to download Salesforce. At this point, we are invoking that contract between his device and the employer, and along the way, educating him about privacy, making sure he's comfortable about what IT can and cannot see, and that his data is his data, and the corporate data always remains separate. Now, Peter knows he needs access to Salesforce to be successful when he's on his iPad. So he accepts that handshake, he accepts that contract, and he starts the installation of the Salesforce application. Once the application is installed, it shows up right within his Workspace ONE environment, and once again, mobile single sign-on, and he's ready to get his work done from any device. Now, isn't that what you call an elegant experience? I love it. I use Workspace ONE on a daily basis, and I couldn't be more proud of the great work that the team has done to deliver to all of you. Now let's take a look at what happens next from an IT perspective. So what's going to happen next is that IT has made the whole experience really simple to deliver Workspace ONE at the back end. Let's roll the video for the IT experience. There you go. Thank you. So here you see the Workspace ONE console, one console from where you can set up your mobility experience as well as identity. It's the same console from where you see all your web apps, your SaaS apps. You can configure single sign-on. You can even set up Office 365. What I showed you earlier from an Office 365 experience, this is the place that IT would go to set up those DLP policies that I talked about earlier. Again, no shifting between multiple consoles, very easy, very straightforward, limited number of steps in order to get the whole experience set up. Once you go ahead and set up your Office 365 experience, this is the same place from where you can also put in conditional access policies. Now, if Peter's outside at a coffee shop or he's in a location where he shouldn't be, and IT would like to block access to certain applications, they can go ahead and do that right from this simple console. So again, your mobility and your identity all in one place. And not just that, we've also made it easy to get reporting right in one place. So the same place where you set up your policies, where you provision your devices, is also the place where you can run your reports so that you can better get a view into all the applications, the devices, the users, and really start to have a good sense of your digital workspace environment. So again, a lot of very cool technology, all coming really soon, and I'm so excited with all the work that the team has done. Thank you.
Thank you, Renu. So with that, we talked quite a bit about privacy and security. And I'd love to talk about an experience that combines both the needs of the corporation and the needs of the end users. So let's roll the video.
All right, everyone better get to work. I'm already late. Oh man, this meeting is across the campus and I still gotta do my slides. What am I gonna do?
Yo, why the long face? Just kidding, I already know.
I know everything.
Yeah, follow me. Samsung DeX enables you to connect your Galaxy smartphone to a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse for a full-blown desktop experience. And with a great partner like VMware and their Workspace ONE product, you could be doing whatever it is that you're doing.
And done.
Shh, someone's coming. Go now.
Thank you.
Man, I am good.
So I'm pretty happy I wasn't, my mic wasn't live during that because I was really laughing hysterically up here at that. So here's what I really like about that video. It combines kind of the best of both worlds. We've got a situation that brings a desktop-like experience to a mobile BYO Android experience, so you can be productive even for editing type functions and be mobile. And it also gives you kind of a sprinkling of Windows as a service where you need it. So speaking of Windows as a service, I'd like to welcome Courtney to the stage.
Great, thanks, Sean. So when we talk about Windows as a service, desktop and application virtualization is one of the best ways to cost-effectively and securely deliver Windows as a service to the digital workspace. Unfortunately, virtualization is something we know a thing or two about. Today, our customers are running tens upon tens upon tens of millions of active powered-on sessions across the globe. And virtualization is being widely used to help mobile users access system of record applications like Epic, SAP, as well as a whole slew of other custom-based applications. It's also being widely used for doctors, clinicians, developers, financial traders, retailers, and others for secure mission-critical desktops. But we know that today's desktop and application virtualization solutions, the legacy desktop and application virtualization solutions, are pretty darn complex. Not only do you have to think about your users, your applications, your images, your settings and your profiles, and all of the updates that come along with those, you also have to factor in sizing and scaling your infrastructure.
Courtney, you're giving me flashbacks. Please stop saying it.
I'm giving you nightmares. But we're out to change all of that with a new approach that makes your infrastructure incredibly elastic. We heard about elastic infrastructure, and that's just what we're doing. We're making it easier to set up, to deploy, and to scale. And we're also automating your desktop and application management, letting you focus on designing your desktop workspaces and letting us and our underlying technologies build those desktop workspaces for you. So let's start by talking a little bit about infrastructure, because we know that's where everybody in this room starts when it comes to deploying virtual desktops and applications. And I want to talk to you about what we're doing to really simplify how you can size, how you can deploy, how you can manage, how you can update, and how you can scale that infrastructure. And Sean, today I'm incredibly excited to announce, in partnership with Dell, new all-in-one solutions called VDI Complete. Now, these end-to-end solutions include vSAN ready nodes or VxRail with all of your infrastructure, all of your Horizon software, optional endpoints, as well as support. They've been fully tested, fully validated, sized, and adding capacity is as easy as just adding another appliance. Now, Sean, you might be saying, well, Courtney, we announced VDI Complete at Dell World. And yes, we did. We announced support for Horizon 7 with VDI Complete. But by popular demand, we're expanding support today for VDI Complete to include Horizon apps as well as NVIDIA Grid. And best of all, these solutions that include all your infrastructure, all of your software, and all of your support from one vendor start as low as $7 per user per month.
Wow, Courtney, that's amazing. You know, in all my years of consulting, I would have killed to have a turnkey solution to take all that complexity out. So it's nice that we've made it easy for people to, purchase and deploy their VDI infrastructure. But what happens if a customer doesn't want to spend the capital expenditure on hardware and just wants to get there in some other fashion? What do we do to help those people?
Well, of course, we have something to help those people too, and I'm pleased to have Shika here to tell you a little bit more about that.
Perfect.
Thank you, Courtney. Hi, Sean. Yes, we have actually taken this one step further. On top of the equation, we have made management consumer simple. And on the bottom of the equation, we leverage ready-made infrastructure as a service, so you don't even have to think about it. And now, you must be wondering, what about apps? Is there a way to take them to the cloud as well? Well, yes. Just earlier this year, we launched Horizon Cloud, a software service from VMware that lets you deliver virtual desktops and applications, either hosted in the cloud or on premises. In fact, we just heard Capital One is already using it. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to share that Horizon Cloud can now deliver workloads on Microsoft Azure. I bet you thought VMware can deliver workloads only on vSphere. Well, not at all. In fact, that's the beauty of it. Horizon Cloud was built and designed from the ground up to be a true multi-cloud service. We have abstracted out the infrastructure layer so that it can work on any environment. Let's say I'm the administrator of a global enterprise. I have a mandate to move all my data and my apps to the cloud. Let's say I use a lot of Windows-based apps, Office 365. So one of the clouds we use is Microsoft Azure. It is one of the fastest growing IaaS and has a consumption-based model, so it makes sense. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I could pair my existing Azure capacity with VMware Horizon Cloud? I sure can. Let's see it in action. So as an administrator, I can log in to the VMware Horizon Cloud console from any browser. From the Getting Started page, I can add cloud capacity by simply entering my existing Azure subscription ID. I can also select a region, Azure region, where I can host my data and my apps, and the network ranges. Within minutes, the Horizon Cloud service reaches out and automatically pairs with the Azure capacity, building out a Horizon Cloud node. The next step is to create a gold image. Horizon Cloud has made this really easy. All I have to do is import a Windows Server OS image, and Horizon Cloud will automatically apply all the necessary agents before I can install the apps I wish to publish. The next step is to create a farm, a collection of RDS servers on Azure, which will host the desktops and apps. I can choose a server size that best suits my workloads, small, medium, or large. I can also select GPU for graphics, which is kind of cool. I also can select power management so that I can turn off those Azure servers to optimize my consumption cost. All right, now that my farm is ready, I can get to the fun part of entitling apps to different users. So I create a new assignment. I select a node that I had just created, pick apps from my farm, and entitle them to different Active Directory groups or our star employee, Peter Parker. That's pretty much it. And I also have a similar assignment for desktops as well. All right, so now here comes our star employee, Peter Parker, and he can launch any kinds of apps from his convenient workspace portal. He can launch and edit different kinds of apps, securely accessing the data, whether they are in Microsoft Azure or anywhere else. And he can launch apps and desktops and enjoy an amazing experience.
Shika, can you show that to us?
Sure. Can we play the video again? Or maybe not.
Maybe not. There we go.
Oh, there it is. So there's Peter Parker, and you can see he's logging into Workspace 1, and he can see all the apps that I had just assigned to him a little bit earlier in that convenient portal. So here's a finance reporting app that he uses. So Horizon Cloud makes it really easy for him to launch and edit those apps, securely accessing the data. And this data could be in Azure, or it could be anywhere else. He can go back to the portal and also launch a desktop. This is a remote desktop, but look at that experience. It's amazing thanks to all the wonderful protocols and the remote experience features we have baked in. All right, that's not all. We are now coming out with a brand new Horizon Apps offering, which starts as low as $8 a month. Our goal is to meet our customers where you are at. So if you have an existing Azure capacity, you will continue to get your Azure bill as usual, but now you can pair it with the VMware Horizon Cloud service as easily as possible. You now have the flexibility to bring your own infrastructure and enjoy the 40-plus global data center locations that Azure has.
Well, Shika, that was very impressive. We saw an easy-to-use setup service, no infrastructure required, apps, desktops, graphics, and power management to control our costs. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, Courtney. So we've seen turnkey hardware. We've seen public cloud, so we don't have to have any hardware. But looking at this slide, that only talks about the bottom part. What about the complex parts of imaging and application delivery and those types of things? What do we do to fix that problem?
Well, exactly, Sean. We know that a lot of customers out there have multiple consoles they're dealing with and multiple tools that they're using to build desktops today. And oftentimes, you don't even know if that desktop is going to work until that user, or how it's going to work until that user logs in. Now, couple that with the exponential explosion of applications and operating systems and all of the updates required, and you have a real recipe for a lot of complexity. So last year, we introduced JUMP. And JUMP is a collection of technologies, including instant clones for rapid image creation, app volumes for real-time application delivery and application lifecycle management, and User Environment Manager, which allows you to set contextual policy and personalize that desktop experience for your user. Now, when you combine those technologies together, you're able to provide your users with a real personalized experience on the front end, while you're able to pull that infrastructure on the back end and create and destroy desktops in seconds. It's incredibly powerful. But what we want to do here is actually take JUMP technologies to the next level. And we're going to show you a tech preview of what that looks like. Effectively, what we're doing is we're taking this collection of technologies and we're integrating them into a single console so that you can focus on designing those desktop workspaces based on your user needs and let the underlying JUMP automation engine build those desktops for you.
Courtney, we've talked about JUMP in the past. Do we have something we can show the audience?
We definitely have something we can show the audience. So right now, I'd love to show you a demo of what this looks like. So you can see here, this is the new integrated console. And we're going to go ahead and create a finance desktop. We're going to attribute some users to that desktop. And then we're going to go and define the various components of the desktop. We're going to assign a Windows 10 image, in this case 1607. We're going to give those users Acrobat, a couple of different browsers, and because they're in finance, we're going to give them Tableau. We're next going to give them some drive mappings and some personalization settings. Now we're going to name that desktop, we're going to complete the assignment, and we're going to hit Submit. Now we've auto-synced this desktop into the digital workspace, and Bella, one of our finance users, is now logging into the digital workspace with single sign-on. She's going to see her brand new Windows 10 desktop, and she can single sign on into that. You can see here that she has all of the applications we entitled her to, her Acrobat, her browsers, and Tableau. And when we double-click, you can see that she, in fact, has her Windows 10 build, which is 1607. That's how easy it is to create a desktop. That's just how fast and how easy we're making it. But many of you may be asking yourselves, well, what about all those updates I have to deal with? What about any changes or edits I'd like to make to that desktop? And so I want to show you a demo of just how easy it is to edit this workspace and make some changes. So let's see the demo. So you can see here I'm back in the finance desktop, and I'm going to edit this desktop. I'm going to change the build for the finance users to 1703. I'm also going to give them Skype for Business, and I'm going to take away Tableau. Now, I'm going to complete the assignment, and you can see that's fully edited. The desktop's been edited. Now, Bella's going to go back into the digital workspace and see her brand new desktop. You can see here she still has Acrobat, she still has her browsers, but she no longer has Tableau. Now, we've also given Bella Skype for Business, which coincidentally is now fully available as part of Horizon 7 and supports Windows and Linux. You can also see she has her Windows 10 1703 build here. Now, given that we've given her Skype for Business, we can see that Peter Parker is now calling Bella. So we're going to listen to see what Peter Parker has to say.
Hi, Bella. I need approval for a Spidey car.
Spidey car? You're over budget.
But Batman has one.
So what?
Pretty, please.
Please, come back next year.
All right, that's just how easy it is to create and edit desktops with this tech preview of our new Jump integrated console. So we're really excited to be able to bring this to you and help you automate how you can deliver and build those desktops within your environment.
Well, Courtney, that's very impressive. We saw integrated offering of all of these technology pieces, simple, easy to use, push a button, and fully deployed. And I love to see that transition of the Windows version with a couple of clicks, and seeing Skype for Business in there is great. So it's amazing to see these technologies come together.
Great, thanks so much, Sean. So for all of you out there that do have a PC refresh coming up, I highly encourage you to take a look at desktop and application virtualization as a way to cost-effectively and securely deliver Windows as a service. If you're using legacy virtualization solutions today, now is the time to upgrade to VMware. And while all of these innovations will be available as part of our solutions on premises, you can really maximize the benefits that you see from these innovations as you move to the cloud. So be sure to include Horizon Cloud as part of your digital workspace strategy. Thanks again, Sean.
Thank you, Courtney.
All right.
So I hope you could see from all those demos that we've done some really great innovation to help our customers, and I'm sure that all of you in the room are going to love these new innovations. Speaking of customers, I'd love to bring Dave back on stage again.
Thanks, Sean. Well, Dave, welcome. Jason, thank you for joining me. not as many jokes this time around because I get to talk with Dave first here with American Red Cross. Amazing organization we heard this morning. The things you guys do. Must be a privilege to work for your company. I got to say, this morning I used the application you have. You said this morning, you can do more than just give money. You can give blood. You can donate your time. But let's be honest, cash is king. If you want to donate to what's going on in Texas right now, it's dead simple. They've made it so easy. I did it in 5 seconds. You pick up your phone, you text Harvey to 90999, and it's a $10 donation to the Red Cross efforts that's going on in Texas. So I want to thank you for joining. You've been a partner of UC now for almost 4 years. You use Horizon, Workspace ONE, AirWatch. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about why is digital workspace and mobility so important to your organization, and what do you do with VMware's technologies?
Sure. So I joined the Red Cross almost 3 years ago now, and there were 3 big things that I needed to address. And one was mobility, the other was choice, and the other was to modernize the devices that we had. We're a really mobile organization, and yet the technology we had doesn't support that. So the first thing we did was do a thorough bake-off, and we arrived at Horizon Enterprise, and we deployed that really quickly. The team did a great job. And the adoption of that, because it's been has a good value, has really seen a month-over-month, year-over-year increase. And so it's almost one of the cornerstones, if you will, of our strategy to not only help the volunteers. Let's face it, control of everything is no longer something that you have. We have people wanting to use their own devices. We want to facilitate that in many respects. And that has allowed us not only to allow volunteers, for example, to use more of their own technology, but employees as well, and in a simple and secure way. So that's great. It's also enabled us to modernize the technology that we do issue, which was a big problem because it was really dated. And so we can do that now. We can deliver Win 10 on modern devices and still give people the newest browsers and applications, and that we've solved the legacy line of business applications. So all of those application systems of record that was talked about earlier, those things we can provide access to and still not let that hold us back from delivering new technology.
Awesome. Thank you. Jason, thank you for taking the time. You have 7 children home, so I know your time is precious. So
I stay pretty busy.
Yeah, you do stay busy. But thanks for helping us out. So Western Digital, you guys do a ton of M&A, mergers, acquisitions. You did one today, I saw.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you use Workspace ONE and Unified App Catalog and Single Sign-On to help all that come together?
Absolutely. I mean, you were showing me a Google alert about our new acquisition that went live this morning, and it was really exciting that it happened this morning because I can tell you that all those users of the new company, all they got was an AD login and Workspace ONE, and that's it. Day one, they're up and running, working, and able to access all new applications from the new company today.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Dave, one last one for you. You had a really interesting stat when we were talking about Windows 10 and how VMware was able to allow you to adopt it. You were having some troubles adopting it. Can you talk a little bit about how we helped?
So after we had got Horizon out there, rolled out and stabilized, the next thing was to turn to Windows 10 to Workspace ONE because we didn't have a way to manage these new devices that we're rolling out if we were going to have Windows 10 on them. So our initial rollout started with Windows 8.1 because we needed to get new technology out there. So as the team was able to get Workspace ONE stood up, we recently have started rolling out, and we're into the hundreds now, not yet the thousands, but so we're rolling out Windows 10 managed by Workspace ONE now as a result of that. So it's allowed us, again, to go back to the beginning of the strategy, right? Put all those pieces in place, and now we can pivot and without too much effort, go to Windows 10 from Windows 8.1, and over time we're going to slide away from SCCM and all those other legacy operating systems.
Jason, I can't let you leave the stage without that great line you told me yesterday. I'm sorry, but you had a great line about silos of technology and exactly what Sumit said at the top of the hour. So
yeah,
what is it you say?
It's not mine.
Oh, it's not yours?
My CIO started it, and he probably spoke to it earlier. But you know, when we do all these acquisitions, we came from 3 large companies together, which means we had at least 3 of everything. And so, you know, we decided to look down at it and say, well, if 2/3 of the company is going to change anyway, why not find the best solution and have everybody change? And so that's why we came along with a lot of the VMware products about Workspace ONE and AirWatch to be able to say, hey, let's pick the best and breed and go through that with the whole company.
Excellent. Well, Dave, Jason, appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. Welcome Sumit back on stage.
All right, thank you to all the customers. Thank you to all the presenters. We just have a little bit more to go. Security. You saw some amazing use cases on how you can truly secure the environment. Now, we know when it comes to security, there are multiple layers of security. Now, in this new model, when there is one solution, like Workspace ONE, that sits on all the devices, there is only one way to communicate with these platforms. We didn't want to build the entire security by ourselves. Instead, we have created the platform so that just the same information that we use for all the policies that Renew was showing in the console, we now make it available to our partners. Our partners that span from cloud, app, endpoint, and network. All the layers of security that you need. There is a trust exchange that we have built between our platform and our partners, so that you can take the security from our platform and enforce it at every layer possible. This gives you the ability to truly make security under control, rather than continuing to add the silos of security that Pat showed in his slide in the morning. Now, when it comes to partnerships, as you've seen through the course of this, we wouldn't have been anywhere in building this platform without the partners. Some of them we actually even have fun with and did great videos with. Now, you've heard from customers, you've heard from partners about creativity. Now, we know that all of this inspires our teams to be creative. What you saw clearly transforms the experience and security model for the future. But we're not done. I want to give you a glimpse of where we are going in the future. Now, I'm going to talk about two things. First, changing the way you can get deep intelligence and visibility into your systems. Second, I'm going to talk about how we can further enhance the experience on a mobile device beyond what you saw. Let's start with intelligence or visibility. In today's environment, what you have, I think you have limited visibility in your workspace. You have silos. If you have to make a change, do you really know that that change is going to optimize the experience? Do you really know when you're making a change, it's going to truly deliver a better performance for an application? Do you really know that all of these threats around you and you're trying to prevent it, the change is actually going to create more secure environment? I don't think so. Because the data and the systems that you have is simply an overload. We think we can change that. Today, I'm announcing Workspace ONE Intelligence, a new service on top of Workspace ONE platform that provides deep insight into everything that matters to you managing the workspace. Every device, every app, how the experience is, and what the security is. In addition, we have built a fully automated rules engine. Rules engine that you can use using all of this rich data to create amazing automation. And to show it to you, I'm going to invite Andrew. All right, Andrew.
Thanks. I'm Andrew Levy. I'm the co-founder of Apptelligent, and I've been in the big data and analytics space for over 10 years. We built a large-scale data platform that analyzes user experience from hundreds of millions of devices worldwide. Now, as a part of VMware, I'm happy to say we're bringing this technology and expertise to Workspace ONE to build something really exciting. I'm going to review two scenarios that demonstrate the power of Workspace ONE intelligence. In this first example, we'll talk about how to protect your environment. Earlier, we heard Sean and Jason mention a new Windows Update architecture. I'm going to show you how Workspace ONE intelligence takes this to the next level. So we used to update Windows every 2 to 5 years. However, Windows 10 is a new, modern OS with major updates every 6 months. Very much like a mobile OS, and very difficult for organizations to get a handle on in this new world vulnerable to security attacks. So if we go to the next slide, what we'll see is a dashboard that shows us all of our operating system versions and patches and upgrades throughout the organization. Now imagine InfoSec runs in and tells you about a new ransomware attack called WannaCry, and they need an immediate update. Let's play the video and see how with Workspace ONE intelligence, you can get a real-time view of the situation. So there's many different templates here you can choose from. What we care about is our update status. So we'll go ahead and select that. We'll enter the KB number for WannaCry. We'll then go ahead and configure our visualization. In this case, we want to group by device. What this gives us is a real-time view of how vulnerable our organization is, who has the patch, who doesn't, and why they don't have it. Next, we'll create a rule for devices susceptible to this ransomware. With Workspace ONE intelligence, you can create automated remediation. This rule looks for all devices that don't have the correct patch installed. This is a powerful automation engine. You can take automated actions on very granular insights. So first, what we want to do is tag all the endpoints that are vulnerable and quarantine them from all company resources, both on-premise and cloud applications. Next, we remediate immediately by pushing down the patch. Finally, we notify the user about the actions that we've taken, and we'll let them know when their system is secure. And that's it. We're done configuring the rule. In less than a minute, we were able to satisfy InfoSec's requirements and protect our organization with insights and automation powered by Workspace ONE intelligence.
That's amazing. What do you think? I'm sure you wished you had it when you needed it, and I know, unfortunately, we're going to need it in the future as well. Now, we talked about security. Andrew, now user performance, especially within an application, that's a big deal. This team is at the end of the day getting calls, hey, my user experience is bad in an application, and that's impacting real issues. Tell us what are we going to do? Exactly.
Well, this next scenario will demonstrate the power of our big data platform to bring together UEM data with user experience data to intelligently manage your deployments. Now let's talk about rolling out a new line of business application. Peter's an IT admin that deploys an app update for point-of-sale devices at a set of retail stores. Let's play the next video and see how this is going. Suddenly, he receives a push notification that a problem has been detected with the update. Workspace ONE intelligence has automatically detected that there's an issue and let him know that an anomaly has been detected. Peter was prepared for this scenario. With Workspace ONE intelligence, he created automation around this flow to protect this mission-critical application. Let's take a look at the anomaly. Well, it turns out that customer checkout time has more than quadrupled after this new app update. As a result, Workspace ONE automatically initiated a rollback to the previous stable release. Now that Peter's back at his desk, let's take a look at how he was able to prevent a large-scale escalation. Well, you can see the dashboard change now to show the state of the rollback. Workspace ONE caught it early on, and so we're almost done moving all of those point-of-sale devices off of that bad release. Let's see how Peter configured a rule to get a handle on this. So what he did was he created automation in customer checkout to detect an anomaly. By leveraging user experience analytics and app analytics, we can detect an increase in the checkout time or the number of timeouts within this flow, all based on historical data for that time of day or day of week. If either of these conditions are met, Peter set up a rule to forcibly roll back to the previous stable release and send a push notification to the admins like the one we saw earlier. In addition, a JIRA ticket is created and sent to the development team with root cause analysis data so they can quickly recreate the problem and turn around a fix. Finally, an incident is created in ServiceNow for tracking by the IT organization, and a channel-wide announcement is sent in Slack to make everyone aware of the issue. Peter was able to take advantage of the insights and automation in Workspace ONE intelligence to quickly remediate this issue. This fundamentally transforms how you make decisions. You move from being reactive, sifting through mounds of information, to proactive, intelligent decision-making. To support those decisions, this platform has been architected to allow for machine learning. So in the future, expect to see automated rule creation, pattern recognition, and other exciting data science initiatives come to life with Workspace ONE Intelligence.
Amazing, amazing. I see a lot of people taking pictures. Tell them when it's going to be available.
So actually, you can go to the VMware End User Computing blog and sign up for a beta right now. And we expect the V1 to be available later this year. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Workspace ONE Intelligence. Now, let's talk about experience. Mobile experience. You know, if you think about applications today, they're powering our business. They have been designed, though, as systems of record for individual functions. When it comes to us being on a bigger screen with keyboards, we can easily switch between them and perform a single task. Sometimes, just to look up information about a customer, as an employee, you're going between applications like CRM, like a support application, even sometimes an engineering application. That's unintuitive and completely unpractical on mobile. And we're going to change that. We're announcing a technology preview of Workspace ONE mobile flows. And to show you that, I'm going to invite Marshall in.
Today, we access our enterprise mobile apps in silos. Each app typically only connects to a single backend, yet work spans across multiple systems. We pick up our phones often, but only look at them for a few seconds each time. How can we be expected to get work done? There is a need to enable the mission-critical services on mobile that you and I need to be efficient. And speaking of mobile, today we still spend the majority of our time in email. And that is why we have built and delivered Boxer, our email client delivering a delightful user experience to hundreds of thousands of users across hundreds of customers in all verticals. We have extended Boxer to support these mobile flows to drive end user efficiency. But what does this look like for our customers? Imagine a world where sales teams are focused on outbound selling instead of internal administrative tasks. What this will look like for our end users, we first start with Peter, who is a widget salesperson for web enterprises. And Peter has been enabled with a better experience on mobile. The critical flows that help Peter drive the sale to close have been built directly into his Boxer mail client. Let's see a few examples. So, the first scenario here, Peter receives an email from Emily. He doesn't recognize her name at first, but quickly realizes she works for one of his accounts, Acme Core. With a single click, Peter is able to add Emily directly as a contact in Salesforce. He's then able to see information about the ongoing deal with Acme and notices there's an 80% chance of it closing this quarter. By eliminating the back and forth to complete these tasks between Salesforce and email, we're able to answer the questions that Peter has before he even thinks to ask them. Now, let's take a look at another scenario here. Peter has many accounts in flight this quarter, but he believes that focusing on Acme gives him the best chance of meeting his quota. He gets an email from the Web Services Engineering team at Web Enterprises, talking about a ticket ID related to an Acme support request. Boxer recognizes that ticket ID and pulls all of the information about the ticket into a single view. Peter is able to directly engage with the engineering team to prioritize the ticket correctly, as well as watch the ticket to ensure he's copied on future updates. And to look at a final scenario here, Emily, you remember her from the beginning, she reaches out to Peter asking for an updated quote, more widgets with a higher discount level. Now, Peter can only extend up to a 10% discount without VP approval. So directly within email, he's actually able to initiate this approval flow to make sure that this gets approved on the back end so he can get the quote out in time. Once the approval is granted, the automated Salesforce email template sends the revised quote to both Peter and Emily, letting them know it's ready to be signed. In addition to email-driven flows, our customers are also building apps. But we're hearing that many times these apps aren't making it to market because of the challenges and pain points around providing a great user experience, adding identity and federated single sign-on, and integrating to multiple complex back-end systems. Mobile Flows allows you to bring the intelligent and actionable notifications that you just saw in email to any app. What we're going to take a look at now is a reference native application demonstrating the ease of building with Mobile Flows in any native view. Let's take a look. Web enterprises used Mobile Flows to solve another challenge for their people managers, aggregating approvals across multiple systems into a single view. Peter isn't just a member of the sales team, he also manages junior account representatives. He's able to quickly approve and deny these requests, as well as dig in for more supporting information when necessary before making the decision. He's able to do all of this without having to authenticate into multiple systems or search for the right email or application required to make the decision.
Marshall-Ann, this is amazing. Tell us a bit about how, not just the applications we saw, how we can connect to all the applications that our customers have.
That's a great question. So Mobile Flows extends across a wide range of apps and services. And with our partners who are integrating with Workspace ONE, like Dell Boomi, Powwow, Sappho, and Capriza, we are able to extend these intelligent and actionable notifications to any enterprise, cloud, or on-premise application. Mobile Flows provides the identity and the context that's required to deliver the great user experiences that you have seen here today.
Thank you so much, Marshall-Ann. It's great. As I promised, I was going to show you innovations, and you saw some. One platform for unified experience across any OS. One way to manage them all. BYO and privacy handled seamlessly with a digital contract. Office 365 simplified across all devices. Windows truly transformed as a service with elastic infrastructure and new technologies that make automation simple, where there's no steps between definition and results. And lastly, these exciting new services that are built on the same platform. The best of all, these are not 5 products. This is all built on a single platform. The single platform is the only way, in fact, you can achieve this. Any other way is nearly impossible. Now, I believe this technology is what you need to create your own journey. You heard some of the successes from customers today, and thanks so much to them. But I'd love to hear success of your journey next year on stage with us. Because I believe that if we go back to where we started, technology is not going to replace any of us. At VMware, our belief is that we need to truly harness and unleash the creativity of everyone in our teams. I'm proud of what our team at VMware has built, and we continue to innovate. I'm humbled with the success we have had, all the recognitions that third parties have provided, and most importantly, I'm really, really excited about how our customers and their end users use our technology. It's there in every industry, changing every place how the work is done. Let's take a look. OK, now comes the time that some of you are waiting for, the scan code. So let me give you a little bit of history about Blink 1852, or 182. My hair's on fire. OK, so hey, listen, 1999, they had a great hit. I don't know if you know or not. They had an amazing hit, and all the small things. Okay, there was one more hit in 1999. It was actually when VMware's first workstation product came in. How many of you use it? It's OK. Woo is OK. Now, 18 years later, we actually have a 10-year anniversary of Fusion. And for all those that still have your chip, the poker chip that came in, you're all going to get one of these. As you walk out, you're going to get a ticket with instructions on how to collect it. It's got all Fusion and workstation software for you. I'm sure you're going to love it. Plot is OK. And before you go, time to get the scan code. There are two pictures I want you to take. One, the scan code. And second, the 3 key sessions that take the technologies that we showed into depth. Enjoy it. Thank you so much.